Seriously? Show me the part where it says that. Maybe it's written in all these post-Protestant sects. There is no mention anywhere that Lucifer is a serpent. But you can find a fragment that the serpent was a woman, a betrayed woman. Of course, we speak about the greatest, most liberated, intelligent woman in the biblical history, Lilith. Woman who really knows what she wants. Lilith, Adam's first wife. It's possible to say that she is a biblical feminist, but in the good sense of the word. Completely incompatible with modern European women, who no longer know who or what they are. They define themselves as emancipated, but at the same time they wash, cook, clean, raise children, work, and in the evening turn into lovers very similar to prostitutes. They are slaves who, what the world trusts, that they are free, but they are not. They have more chains than in other era. In no other era have they been so enslaved. They turned into robots. Feminism has really reduced women to having sex anywhere and with whomever they can, and it has put more shackles on them at the same time. It relieved men of obligation to provide for the family. For men, of course, it's a comfortable. Western feminism is very convenient. I wouldn't want it to take on the same face in the Middle East. And sincerely, I prefer to be not a feminist, but do one of these things good. Indeed, I do not want such feminists to be brought to us. Lilith was removed from the Christian version of the Bible very fast, and it led to a change in the role of woman, evolution of patriarchy. We all know that the texts of the Christian Bible that we have today were written between 4th and 5th centuries, Anno Domini. They were changed many times, mainly for political reasons. Many of them were rejected, although they were definitely older than those that remained in the canon. The youngest gospel, according to historical research, is Gospel of St. Thomas. It never entered to the canon because it was politically inconvenient. Mark, Luke, and Paul did not know Jesus. In particular, the Old Testament text, many fragments were really thrown out, such as the story of Adam, Eve, and the dog, or Lilith, Adam's first wife. Only the bloodiest fragments survived, and the reason was simple. They wanted to present the Jews as the bloody killers of Jesus. It worked. It hit a lot of heads. Although the Jews stoned, they did not crucify. But today, for many, it's a minor detail. It was a political call that has repercussions to this day. The Torah itself and the Talmud were also changed many times, as the Jewish society changed after coming into contact with nomadic tribes, the nucleus of the future Arabs. We know it or we don't know it, because in today's church you can often hear, "My Father who art in heaven," or "My kingdom come," what the priest even on Christians' radios. People also blindly take every verse of the Holy Book as true. The Holy Books, however, had a completely different purpose, and one must know the whole of them, not tear out fragments, to understand what they are about. Over the time, the famous love, "A Jew is of Jewish mother without a Jewish mother there is no Jew," began to be limited to this only, although Israel is still a country where a woman gives citizenship to a child, not a man. This is naturally the most normal because, according to the statistics, Eastern countries of the European Union are the worst in this matter. Many men raise children that are not their own and do not even know about it. It shows something about the society. This is, of course, is also due to poor sex and biological education, but it's a fact. Also, the right of a woman to decide with whom she will marry will disappear over time in Jewish tradition. But famous Askrahel will be forgotten over the time, but arranged marriages will be made. In fact, the only unaltered book in the history of the region of books is the Book of Esther. The symbol of the greatest freedom of a woman is Lilith. Lilith survived in the culture of the first most pure Christian church, Byzantine, and she derivatives and will also appear in the Quran. So who is Lilith? A divine demon, Lucifer's wife, a powerful, beautiful seductress, learning for men to her bed, a demon killing children, the mistress of the night, the mother of demons, the most prominent prostitute. With the following century, she became more and more monstrous, more and more evil. The cult of Lilith appears in the Sumerian times throughout the lands of Canaan. Her name means as much as wind, only later will she also become the goddess of the night. In Torah, she appears in the apocalyptic vision of Adam in the book of Isaiah. Demons will meet hyenas and god demons, probably fauns, will call each other. Only Lilith will rest there and find the peace. Sometimes it's translated as a shelter. It is worth mentioning that Isaiah in his times walking around dirty naked in the cities was not a very respected citizen. Then the Romans will begin to associate her with the goddess Lamia. Lilith is definitely not Lucifer's wife, and she is certainly not, as some astrologers claim, astonishing, a creature that destroys everything in her path. Amazing that I believes in these things, in these times, in something like that. She works perfectly in undergoal situations. In fact, this woman only then knows what to do. Indeed, there are people who precisely, in times of, for example, war, prove themselves better than mere mortals, who split their hands and whine. Although in times of peace nothing indicates that. Lilith's symbol is the moon, disappearing after the full moon or the far side of the moon. This is reflected to the name of Mahbaker. It was the second harem name of Kusem Sultan. What is the history of this demon? Is she a demon? According to the books, not quite. She is a human being condemned to immortality. God created Lilith at the same time as he created Adam to be his wife. She is his partner, but from the beginning Adam does not like this woman. When Adam first saw her, she was still covered in blood and slim. He didn't like it, so God transformed her according to his wish. Adam seems to have forgotten how he looked like when he was created. It is centrally a reference to the appearance of babies after birth. They are not beautiful at all. We are not beautiful at all on the beginning. Now she is a beautiful woman. She is perfect. But Adam always has some grudge against her. First of all, Lilith questions his opinion. She does not always agree with him. She wants to do what she wants. She wants freedom and equal treatment, since they were created at the same time. And besides, the worst thing about Adam during intercourse, he wants to be on the top, not on the bottom. This humiliates him. He has a strong orgasm then. He feels too enslaved, so he distances to Lilith. He tells God about what a bad being is Lilith because she oppressed him and despised him. Can tell the first lie of the first man. Lilith goes to an island where she spends her time alone. Sometimes she is visited by Samael, angel of death. We have no idea how to that meeting is going. Samael is the same person as Azrael. The term angel of death does not fit him either, because he is not an angel. He is completely independent being. In fact, thought the further in the Bible, the more his character tries to confuse. At some point, something being to connect them. Torah here does not precisely specify the relationship of these two, but speculates. Do they finally fall in love, or is it just for pleasure that there is intercourse between them? Meanwhile, Adam starts to miss a woman. No one can treat biology, although some people try to tell such nonsense. Adam asks God to bring Lilith back. God decides to bring Lilith back. He sends 3 angels, but Lilith refuses. She tells them the true version of events, her vision about humiliation, treatment from above, exploitation. She declared that she would rather give birth to deaf children than children of such man. She preferred to die, but she will never return to Adam. And after that, she can't come back because she had intercourse with another, with Samael. Maybe she say it in anger. She also curses the progeny of Adam. She reminds that since he betrayed her, it's only a matter of time before he betrays God. To this creature is not possible to be trusted. The angels depart. The saying about giving birth to corpses certainly refers to the figure of Samael, as well as the will to die. Lilith states that she prefers to be with him, even though it's not even possible because he is a higher creature and she is a human. Samael simply treated her on an equal. He was truly partner and as well a friend in the worst moment of her life. Yeah, but it's a secret of actually a taboo. But angels lost their wives quite late in theology. On the beginning, they had wives. They have them at first, and this raises quite interesting theological problems these days. If Lilith was indeed a monster, and her vision would be untrue by analyzing over text in Torah, God would kill her that day, but he didn't. However, he saves her. So he had to find out for the first time that Adam was lying. Maybe it's because someone else was there when he created him. God does not impose any punishments on her at all. And throughout the Bible, we have references to divine punishment. In a way, he knows perfectly well that there must be a grain of truth in it. Lilith is also the only person from whom Samael will intercede with God. He will never do it again and never before. He will clearly present the facts of the life of a mortal in the final judgment, but he defends Lilith. God has no choice. He knows Lilith too well. He leaves her alone. By the time Lilith becomes a demon. Maybe this is her punishment, but we have no idea, sincerely, why she became the demon. Honestly, it's more tradition, not that dogma text. From Adam's rib, he created a new woman, Eve. This one suits him very well, requires nothing, always agrees with everything, is even pretty, not like Lilith, but acceptable. She does not deny him, and above all, during intercourse, she is underneath, thanks to which Adam has more power over her, and he himself plays the role of master in the act of procreation. Sweet, innocent Eve. Really sweet, stupid Eve. The creation of Eve from Adam also has a propaganda purpose. She is already subject to him in a sense. Should be grateful for existence. Lilith didn't have to. It is said that Lilith transformed into a serpent or sent a serpent to reveal Adam's true face. That we can read about serpent. And silly Eve, that story probably everyone know, she is falling for it. The rest of the story is rather familiar, I hope so. Amazing why so much text has been removed. Yeah, mostly by them. Today few Christians know who Lilith was, and that was the point of those who chose the canon of books, obedient blindly believing Eve was to be able the model of perfect woman. And what's interesting indeed, as Jane Austen used to say, only fools will get married. Most men definitely prefer stupid, obedient Eves, and they are terrified of intelligent one like Lilith. In the entire history of misogyny, we'll find only references to Eve, because no one has heard of Lilith. Lilith really isn't one of those who have the brain of few years old child, but Eve does. There is no denying the fact that some women are really stupid. Men aren't always smart either. So Lilith isn't a monster. She's not evil. She just wants the same rights over herself. Over the time, the patriarchal world will add worse and worse things to her. There is nothing in the Eastern text about her becoming Lucifer's wife. Even that he has a wife. In Latin text, yes, but this does not apply to the canon, but rather to all the fathers of the church and other legends created over the time. One of the descendants of Lilith and Samael is supposed to be Sariel, identified with Ariel. Mysterious mighty archangel from the Apocalypse. His name means God's lion, which in translation into Arabic creates the word Aslan. In distorted form, the word found its way to European languages, creating the name of the new religion, Islam, although Muslims themselves do not define themselves that way. We should also mention about Chronicle of Narnia. In fact, there is a lion Aslan, and Lewis described the paradise. If someone read well that book, a great fantasy book, I think, he will, to the end, Chronicles of Narnia, he will discover that these children died and they moved to paradise, where they met God. Eastern world, as we told, God came to the world in the body of a lion or in tiger body. If we speak about India, Maybe because tiger is stronger and as well higher, and they met tiger more often. Asiatic lions disappear very fast. In the problem of disappearing of Asiatic lions actually began in ancient times. There is nothing about human culture. So Lewis described a paradise. Of course, maybe not to the end in the meaning of what imagine people who grow up in Latin traditions, and each churches grow up from that traditions, but in Eastern traditions and Muslim traditions, of course, yes. So that pure traditions from the beginning, from as well Judaical traditions. He describes the paradise. Sariel is mysterious angel who follows God's orders without fail. He can be gentle, yet destructive. Only he can bring someone's soul back to the earth. He can protect, but at the same time destroy. As the only angel, he has human feelings, and like his mother, can reveal secret forbidden knowledge. In the 5th century, the Latin Church banned the cult of Sariel. But in Latin America, his personality is known as Uriel. He exists only in Judaic, Orthodox Christian, and Muslim texts actually. Samael himself, also called Azrael, is also a unique character in the Bible. He is the only archangel who cooperates with God and the Lord of Light, Lucifer. Although in the Latin tradition he is considered a damned angel. In the original text he is not. This is a being whose character is completely independent in making decisions. He is neither a demon nor an angel. He is the Lord of life and death. The one that everyone will meet last moment, and the one who will present our biography to the lords of this world, and based on his words, these two will decide what to do next. He will never stand up for anyone again. He presents the dry facts of the life. It can be said that in this matter, Lilith chose much better than Eve. However, when it comes to Lilith and Samael's offspring, even Torah contradicts itself at that topic. Well, I think it's beautiful painting, even though the author himself was mentally ill. Roberts painted just Azrael at the end of his life. Today it's believed that he was misdiagnosed. He had porphyria. And untreated porphyria changed him. Roberts Azrael is perfect. Yeah, pre-raphaelites as well painted Azrael so often. Some of them are as well great. Once a friend of mine from Eastern Europe noticed something very important about feminism. She thought that she has the impression that feminism is only for rich women, and the poor ones are supposed to serve them. Even give them children. That wasn't the point of that ideology on the beginning. European feminists say a lot, but they have not won the most important thing. Stop being beaten in their relationships. Instead, they make their husbands wash diapers and consider it's a man's job. They do not agree at all on this point. Some believe that especially these poor women want to be beaten. In such a system, it is indeed better to become a prostitute, because even if the client beats you, he will leave, but getting rid of a spouse from the house can be much more difficult. I agree with that words. Feminists say a lot, but they have not the most important thing, and what's funny thing, they do not want to fight for that important thing for this poor woman. It's sadly, but it's look like that. Lilith fought for everyone, and now we fought for rich. Lilith became the muse of many artists. The most famous painting of Lilith was painted by John Collier, a beautiful naked woman dancing with a snake. Lilith has actually existed in the culture of Canaan all a long time. She was associated with Astarte, the local goddess of love and war. After all, it always goes together. Her figure was worshipped by most peoples of those regions. Today, it's difficult to say from which culture her cult passed to the Bible. The most common theories are about the Phoenicians. Anyway, Lilith has always been a symbol of feminism and freedom, like the later Rachel, a symbol of the spurned rightful wife who has been her husband's equal since the beginning of the time, but she never forgot her role that she is a woman. Lilith supports spurned scorned wives in her cults. This demoness is not really as bad as she is portrayed. This demoness is not really a demon, she is an entity. The cult of Lilith is as old as the world. She has been around forever. Lilith simply had no choice. She put everything on one card, and God know it. I wonder which one do you choose, Lilith or Eve? That is a question for thinking. Lilith actually won. She got the most powerful husband in the whole history of Bible, probably. Despite this, however, most prefer to follow Eve. Sincerely, I would choose Azrael too. Yeah, so